175,000 adults, nearly 50% lower risk of cancer, 42% lower risk of diabetes, 32% lower blood pressure, 31% lower cardiovascular disease, 23% lower respiratory illness, all from one simple food eaten almost every day. That is what a massive new study, published in 2024 across 3 different countries, found in older adults, and the numbers surprised even the researchers. 5 of the most serious diseases people fear most after 60. One ingredient sitting in almost every kitchen. And the effect was strong, consistent, and confirmed across populations on 3 continents. If you have been hearing for years that garlic is good for you, without really knowing what that means, today you will. Today I am going to walk you through exactly what this new research found, why garlic works the way it does inside your body, the one mistake most people make that destroys 90% of garlic's benefits, and at the end, the simple, practical advice based on what these long-lived populations actually do every day. Stay with me, because the mistake at habit number 4 is something almost everyone gets wrong without knowing it. Before we get into the study, here is something most people do not understand about why garlic is so powerful. The active compound in garlic is called allicin. And here is the key fact. Allicin does not exist in a whole, intact garlic clove. It only forms when you crush, chop, or chew the garlic, releasing 2 compounds that combine on contact with air. Within minutes, that allicin transforms into other sulfur compounds that protect your blood vessels, reduce inflammation, kill harmful bacteria, and act as one of the most studied natural antioxidants in science. Think of garlic as a sleeping medicine that you have to wake up, and most people accidentally put it back to sleep before it can do its job. We will come back to this. It is one of the most important parts of this video. Now the study. The research, published in 2024 and led by an international team, combined data from 3 major populations. The Chinese Longitudinal Healthy Longevity Survey, which followed 26,524 older adults, many of them over 80, for years. The Xinjiang multi-ethnic cohort of 7,658 participants, and the UK Biobank, with data from 141,684 British adults. Across all 3 cohorts, the same pattern emerged. People who consumed garlic almost daily had significantly lower rates of chronic disease compared to those who rarely ate it. Here is what they specifically found in the Chinese longevity study, the one focused on the oldest adults. Finding 1. Cancer risk cut nearly in half. Daily garlic eaters had a 49% lower risk of cancer compared to those who rarely consumed it. The protective effect was strongest for cancers of the digestive system, particularly stomach and colorectal cancer. The mechanism behind this has been studied extensively. Garlic's sulfur compounds, particularly diallyl disulfide and S-allylcysteine, appear to interfere with the inflammatory and oxidative processes that allow cancer cells to develop and spread. A separate earlier study from Iowa following older women found that those eating garlic regularly had a 35% lower risk of colon cancer over many years of follow-up. Different population, different study design, same direction. Finding 2. Diabetes risk lower by 42%. Among older adults who consumed garlic almost every day, the odds of having diabetes were 42% lower than in those who rarely ate it. Clinical trials have separately confirmed that garlic supplementation can modestly lower fasting blood sugar and improve HbA1c, the 3-month average measure of blood sugar control. The proposed mechanism involves improved insulin sensitivity and reduced glucose production in the liver. Now, this is important. Garlic is not a replacement for diabetes medication. But for people with pre-diabetes or those wanting to protect themselves, the data is compelling. Margaret, a 64-year-old retired teacher from Arizona, had a borderline high A1C at her last checkup. Her doctor told her to lose weight and watch sugar. She also added 1 clove of crushed raw garlic to her food each evening. 6 months later, her A1C had dropped into the normal range. The garlic alone did not do it, but she is convinced it was part of the combination that worked. Finding 3, blood pressure, risk down 32%. This is the one with the strongest clinical support. Garlic's effect on blood pressure has been confirmed by multiple meta-analyses of randomized, controlled trials, not just population studies. The average reduction in systolic blood pressure with garlic supplementation is around 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury, comparable to some first-line blood pressure medications, though slower in onset. Before we continue with finding number 4, let me say one quick thing. If you are finding this useful, the best way to support this channel is hit that like button and subscribe. I read every single comment, and knowing this research is actually helping people is what motivates me to dig into the studies and break them down for you. Now, back to it. Finding 4. Cardiovascular disease risk down 31%. This is the heart protection finding. Daily garlic consumption was associated with a 31% lower risk of cardiovascular disease in the older Chinese cohort, and umbrella reviews of multiple meta-analyses have confirmed the protective association across populations. The mechanism is multi-layered. Garlic gently lowers blood pressure, reduces total and LDL cholesterol, helps thin the blood slightly to reduce harmful clotting, and supports the flexibility of arteries themselves. And here is the most important practical part of this entire video, the mistake most people make. The garlic mistake that destroys 90% of its benefits. Remember what I said about allicin, that allicin only forms after you crush or chop garlic. Here is what almost everyone gets wrong. They drop a whole clove into a hot pan, cook it for 30 seconds, and serve. The heat destroys allicin almost instantly before it has even fully formed. The right way, supported by laboratory research, crush or chop the garlic, then let it sit for 10 minutes before cooking. That 10-minute rest allows the allicin to fully develop and become more heat-stable. Then when you cook it, much more of the active compound survives. This single change, crushing and waiting 10 minutes, can preserve dramatically more of garlic's medicinal value. The same applies to chopped garlic added raw to dressings, dips, or finished dishes. Robert, a 67-year-old from Georgia, had been cooking with garlic for 40 years, the way his mother taught him, straight from the press into the hot pan. He changed one thing. He started crushing it 10 minutes before adding it to his food. Same garlic, same meals. 6 months later, his cholesterol numbers had measurably improved at his annual checkup. His doctor was surprised. He was not. Finding 5, respiratory illness risk down 23%. Daily garlic eaters had 23% lower odds of chronic respiratory diseases like chronic bronchitis. Garlic has been shown in clinical research to support immune function, increasing the activity of certain immune cells and reducing the duration and severity of common colds in controlled studies. So what is the right amount? Most clinical studies showing benefit use the equivalent of 1 to 2 raw or properly prepared cloves per day. Aged garlic extract supplements, standardized to provide consistent allicin or S-allyl-cysteine content, have been studied at doses of 600 to 1200 milligrams daily and are an option for people who cannot tolerate the taste or smell of fresh garlic. A few honest warnings before you go. If you take blood-thinning medications, including warfarin, clopidogrel, or even daily aspirin, talk to your doctor before increasing your garlic intake significantly. Garlic enhances the blood-thinning effect and could raise your bleeding risk. If you are scheduled for surgery, most surgeons recommend stopping garlic supplementation 1 to 2 weeks beforehand. People with very sensitive stomachs or those on certain blood pressure medications should also discuss it with their doctor first. For everyone else, here is your practical takeaway. 1 to 2 cloves of garlic per day, crushed or chopped, allowed to sit for 10 minutes, then either eaten raw in dressings or added to your cooking. Consistency matters more than amount. This is a long-term, gentle, compounding effect, not a quick fix. The populations in the study who saw the biggest benefits were not eating massive amounts. They were eating modest amounts regularly for years. If this research was useful to you, please tap the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who deserve real, honest health information. And drop a comment below. How often do you eat garlic? Daily, sometimes, or almost never? I read every single one. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. The studies described show associations and clinical effects, but individual results vary, and food cannot replace medical treatment for any condition. Always consult your doctor before significantly increasing garlic consumption, especially if you take medications, have a bleeding disorder, or are scheduled for surgery.